Hello, everybody, and welcome to You in the Universe. I am here, and I'm with a good friend of mine. Kellee's not in tonight because Kellee's having a situation going on, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But I'm really, really happy and pleased, and I can't even put words and descriptions together for my good friend Janelle Campbell, who's joining us. Hello, Janelle.
Hello, James. How are you, my love? Hi, everyone.
How's my little friend doing?
Your little friend is very fine, my darling. I'm fine. Just getting through life as we do.
Yes. And everybody, Janelle is in Australia, as you can hear. And you've just been voted a very special spiritual award. Tell everybody about it.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Spiritual Teacher of the Year. How about that? And we had the seminar and award ceremony last week, and it was just a lovely surprise. And because we just do the work, don't we, James? And you don't expect accolades, but occasionally somebody pats you on the back and says, "Hey, good job." So I was very excited for that. So thank you,
Janelle. We met, how many years ago do we meet? It feels like
gosh. Well, it'd been nearly 20, but then we really became friends more 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, and we met officially, I guess I would say, in Ireland. I was doing an event in
Ireland, yes.
Right, in a workshop, and Janelle was there, and we did a demonstration, and she was a student there in the audience, and I just took students up their demonstration.
Onto the platform or whatever.
Yeah, with a call to platform. And I said, and I never met Janelle before. And I said, young lady.
That one.
And I said, would you mind standing up and doing the demonstration? Because we just had a week's worth of workshop. And I gave her an assignment. Now, this is very interesting because I'd never done this previous to this moment. And I never met Janelle. And I just really didn't know her, as far as her abilities and so forth. So if I remember correctly, Janelle, I had you come to the front of the room and I had you turn around and put your back to the audience. And I put a blindfold on you.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And I had her make a contact. And if I remember correctly, you said, I have a mother here. Yeah. And I didn't say anything as far as validation, whether yes or no, because I didn't want to give it away. And so I stayed back in the audience, going back and forth. And when the person recognized the spirit, they stood up and you gave them information about the woman. And there was the recipient couldn't say anything, and she'd shake her head. And I would say, yes. And I'd say,
that's right.
No.
Yes. You would say yes.
And Janelle, I want you to feel the energy and let the spirit bring you to the recipient. And we'll hold on to you so far, because she was doing so blindfolded. And you literally went, and there were a lot of people in that room.
Yeah, there was a lot of people in the room.
A lot of people. And she literally went into the space right in front of the recipient, who was in the center of the room on the left side. And she was right in front of her. So how did you do that, love?
Look, that was just luck, I think. You've got to follow whatever your instincts are at the time, and you're nervous and weird and all the stuff that goes with it. And you've got this icon of a medium teacher just holding your hand and gently guiding and pushing you forward and advocating for your talent. And it was you just have to trust the flow, don't you, love? And
you
push
gotta
on.
trust and surrender, right? Trust.
Yes, surrender. Totally surrender.
What we're going to talk about in our topic tonight was becoming more spiritual. And I mean, we won't go into that. We have inside jokes, Janelle and I. We've known each other for many years. But the reason why Kellee is not here, so everyone's wondering Kellee White. So this is Kellee and I, months ago, I think we told you, Janelle, about this. We were doing a podcast here about signs and signals from the spirit world.
Oh, yes.
And we talked about an overwhelming theme of the night was patience. And we talked about different ways spirit communicate, whether it's through cards or messages through, little signs that you'd see on a truck or license plate or coins or different ways. And at the end, Kellee just brings out a book and she goes, okay, James. And she's turned the page. She goes, give me a number. And I said, 37, page 37. And she read it, and it was a White Eagle book. And the word was patience.
Wow.
Out of all the pages, it was just, so it's one of those moments, it's one of those moments.
Yeah.
Now Kellee and I call them page 37 moments. And And the more you allow and really surrender to the greatest possibilities that there are, and you have fun and amusement with it, the more page 37s happen. So,
That's right.
like 3 weeks ago, Kellee, I had a dream, and it was this person with, I think, white and blue and sparkles everywhere. And then the next day I spoke to Kellee, and she said, it was weird. So my mother last night, she was white with blue sparkles. Like, me too. So we've had this ongoing, thing for many years, but really, especially at this time, which is very
Yeah,
interesting.
especially. And I think when you're connected as well, when you share passion and joy and love with somebody, you're more easily fitting into that frequency of love and connection with them. So it doesn't surprise me.
So what happened Friday? Today is Monday. So today's Tuesday. Sorry.
I don't know.
I don't know where we are.
It's Wednesday here, love.
It's Wednesday in Australia. So on Friday, I called Kellee and said, I'm on my way to go get a vaccination, and it's like a shingles vaccination, and because I knew I had to do that. So what happened was Kellee had, I'm going to be doing that next week. It's on my schedule. I said, oh, great, okay. So I went and got my shingles vaccine. I got another known vaccine, and so forth. And Saturday, Kellee was doing a workshop, and I was going to do a closing meditation. And at 7:30 in the morning, I had to text her because I was up all night. I had this body of sweats. I was nauseous, and I was really sick. And it was this reaction to these three things I had. So, so that's fine. So on Sunday morning, I called Kellee again. I told her, say how it went, the workshop. She goes, it was good. I said, yeah, I'm sorry about that. The reaction I had was really overwhelming. And I said, are you feeling good? She goes, yeah, but I have the strange rash on my shoulder.
My God.
I hope it's not COVID. She goes, no, it was a negative test. I said, well, I hope it's not shingles. Sure enough, it was shingles.
Wow. I think you two have got to break up.
Page 37. Page 37.
Page 37, indeed. Oh, my God. Poor Kellee. We love you, Kel, and get well.
Kellee, and Kellee's watching. Yeah. So Janelle, what do you think when we say how to become more spiritual? In your way, what do you say about that?
Gosh, it's a big question, really.
It's a big question.
My goodness. And it puts so much expectation on you, be more spiritual and be this and be that. Well, just be yourself, I think, is becoming more spiritual and not giving way to the fear factor, which is going around the planet right now or anywhere in your life, and push more into who you truly are. And what it is to be spiritual is to simply be you. Your innate beauty, your kindness, your compassion, your joy, your fun, your silliness, all of those things help ignite your spiritual being. What about you?
Well, it's similar. I mean, I do believe there's the human, there's that human aspect of ourselves, the ego,
of course.
Which of course is that fear-based and, judgment and limited, if you will. But exactly. It's a condition. If people get more into that human part of them, and they think this is all there is, this three-dimensional world, and they judge others, and they get the whole human thing, and the more money you have, the happier you'll be. Or I was watching a thing last night on YouTube, which I just love, but it was like facelift's gone wrong. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
And I was watching and there's a lot of Hollywood people and it was so sad to me. Bradley Cooper.
Wow.
A lot of people are like, oh my God, because I got to live up to the standard.
That's right.
It's all just a Hollywood thing. And it's like the outer part of you. And it's like, that's the human. And really, we are souls. Yeah, we are souls having an experience. So
we are. And it creates, do you find it creates such a false narrative or a false ego in a way, that we're supposed to look like this, we're supposed to act like this and be something else other than what we actually are. Be joyful in that, for God's sake.
I just think that, the vibration of Hollywood, and I've been in that world, and I've been producing, and I mean, I created the show The Ghost Whisperer, and I looked last night, and I just, the heck of it, I just said, let me look and see what it says in history about how the show was created. And it said something, but the writer we had, these producers who went to this writer, and I came in as a consultant. I'm like, a consultant? I hired the executive producers. Wow. I interviewed them, and I interviewed the writer. What? So they changed that. It's weird. And I was watching something with I was watching a great documentary on Netflix, Being Eddie Murphy. and it was
Oh, I
really,
haven't seen that yet. Yep.
really good. Everybody should watch that. It's a
Oh,
really
cool.
good. Eddie Murphy was great, great comic, great, interesting show. And Jerry Seinfeld's in the middle of it, and he said one comment he said was just so outstanding. He said, "Well, Hollywood could be wonderful, but it's also venomous. It's a lot of venom." But that's exactly it, because it's all based on fear, right? It's all
Yeah,
based on that
exactly.
human conditioning. And I think one of the hardest things for people is, well, in some ways it's the hardest, but in some ways it's easiest. When you live a life that you try to live up to other people's expectations and care what other people think of you, you're never going to be right. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
exactly. And as soon as I imbibed that thought of, it's none of your business what people think of you,
Yeah, what
your
people
life
think is none of your business. Exactly right.
starts to open. Your world and your heart starts to open, and you don't care anymore about all the naysayers and all the nastiness. It does sting a little bit. We can't lie about that, but you get over it much quicker, I think.
Yeah, with that wonderful saying, which what other people think of me is none of my business. It opens up the frequency. It opens up the energetic self.
Sure
It brings you back to who you truly are, and you start living from your soul self instead of that ego self.
That's right, exactly.
Really important. So your whole
agree.
perspective shifts to the spiritual part of you, not the ego. And that spiritual part, I often talk about the art of discovery and that spiritual awareness. And I think, and we have such a great relationship because we kind of understand these things with each other and celebrate the fun together and the discovery together. And Janelle and I, we laugh. We have joy.
Yeah, we like to laugh, exactly. And we like to play and be silly and see where life takes us. And it's really lovely. You make some amazing decisions and friendships and beauty within by just simply just throwing the cards up in the air, I guess, and see how it all lands, and being positive as much as you can, say yes to experience. When in my early days with you, I just said yes to everything and thought, man, how do I sort this out?
We've been around the world together because Janelle said yes to everything.
Yes, many times.
We've had the best times. I was just telling Ryan, who's producing us in the back here, Janelle and I last year, in March, right? Last year it was.
No, this year, love. This year.
Was
no,
it wasn't
this year. Whatever year it is, doesn't matter.
Time
is an illusion.
Gone. But it's very interesting because Janelle and I just, when you're with someone who's like attracts like, and that other thing about what do people think of me as my business, and then also I love this one too. It is what it is, and that's all that it is.
Yeah, exactly. And don't we use
more of it? Don't make more of it. Life is simple. Don't make it complicated.
Yeah,
it is what it is. That's all it is. And some people, Kellee talks about this a lot. Meet people where they're at. You got to meet people. You can't thrust something on how they should be. They are who they are, and that's what you're dealt with. That's it. So you don't have to change them. Be involved with it. You just are really aware of yourself and how you walk into a space, and really can, in a way, if you will, alter, change it. Just by being yourself, as you say.
You sure can. Yeah, exactly. I call it kind of being heart-centric and to bring that magic back in. And so if that's flowing within and you've got that in mind, then your essence is going to change a room. You can't help it. You just be normal, whatever that is to you, and it will change the vibe of the room. And so and where energy flows, or what's the saying? Where energy goes, energy flows.
Energy goes. Yeah, something like
goes and flows.
I reminded you years and years, you can never use that word that humans use.
What?
Normal. Why not?
Oh no, we're not normal. I'm sure I'm
normal. Well, normal is boring, right? So like you said, being more connected, I think, and that heart-centered self. I always say live heart forward. Put your heart light on. And when you in a space, people become aware of that light, that energy, if you will, whatever you want to call that they'll become aware of that joy, that laughing. That someone said to me once, said at the dog park, you're always so great to be around because you're always laughing. I said, well, why not? Why not?
Exactly. Why not? Exactly. And, people say similar things to me and I kind of go, real, I don't get it.
No.
It's like, really? Like what? And if you're just you, I think that will rise naturally and deeply, because that's who we really are. Our innate quality of being spiritual, or how to be more spiritual, is just being more of you, the kindness and the heart.
And Janelle, you said it earlier, which is really important to emphasize, is that, don't worry about what other people think, because you'll never get anyone else's approval. Janelle and I are wonderful examples, and Kellee is as well. Wonderful examples of doing our own stuff. And what other people think was, that's it. Kellee has some great phrases about that, but it's really true. The more you have that sense of who you are, the more you know yourself, the easier, I could say easier, but the more connected with life in a way, and other people and situations. And I talk about this almost weekly. When you come from that space of observation, observing situations, observing people, how they handle things, not to jump in and judge it. But I mean, there have been many, every day, all of us have experiences where you want to say, wow, I don't agree with that person's behavior. And what I tend to do, because, me, I have a big mouth. If someone's not in the right space, I'll stop them and say, excuse me, I'm not deserve it. You have to have boundaries. I don't deserve that. And today, for instance, I was getting an injection, another injection.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I did a trigger point injection for my back because I'm almost, it was aching. So do a trigger point thing. So the girl was, and I was 5 minutes late, or she said 17 or whatever. And my car keys, being a psychic. And I got there. And she did the trigger points, but she had an edge to her. Like, and she said, well, we can't have a meeting now because you were 17 minutes late, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow. I'm thinking, okay. And I wanted to stop her and say something like, excuse me, you're in a health area here. This is a space where it's health, and you're being patience, which means you have to have patience and compassion. With passion, you have to be the best self you can. And I want to say something, but she was obviously holding the syringe, so I wouldn't give her.
Good choice, love. Good choice.
Tomorrow, but but I always point out to people the behaviors, and I'm not judging them. I just say it in a way that I want them to look at how they give out that, and what other people are picking up, what they're giving out to the world. And the opposite happened. I was at the gym and worked with a trainer, and this other trainer was in the room with someone, and they said, joking with my guy, and just something about, you got to think that way, or don't think that way. And I yelled out, thoughts are things. And she goes, exactly right. So it was that connection of that.
I like the idea of observing as well, because I think we learn so much about ourselves by simply taking ourselves out of a situation and just watching it unfold. Because sometimes we've been in the situation, we've reacted, we've been something that we're not now, or we want to move into another paradigm. And I think observing the situation, the people around you, the things that are spoken about, and not reacting to that and going, oh, okay, and I kind of go, gee, I'm glad I'm not them. And I think that helps. And I know it sounds mean, doesn't it? But it's becoming more spiritual in that sentence, in that thought. You're becoming more spiritual because you're honoring your own self, your own mission and being,
Well, I've said to a strange neighbor across the street from me, and he said something like, when Pearl's dog ball went to the property, he goes, I hope you're moving. Like,
oh, my goodness.
And I looked at it, I wouldn't want to be you.
Exactly right. I hope I'm moving too.
No, next thing I want to say was, it's going to be what it's going to be, and that's all it's going to be.
It is what it is.
It's that surrendering part. It's not only the awareness, but surrender. And I'm going to say this again, because it really is imperative, and it's been coming in a lot in the past month. And I say it in conversations with people, and it just comes up. It really is that sense of know who you are. When you know who you are, the world's your oyster, because you don't have to live up to anyone's expectations. Just be yourself. We were brought here, each one of us were really brought here, came here uniquely. I often say it's like a snowflake. Each one is completely different, and you are needed here. Your light is needed. Can be billions and billions and billions of people on this earth, but we need each individual light to help and resonate and bring love, if you will, and bring your awareness, your wisdom to this planet. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it also takes time to come to that realization. I mean, we have to go through a heck of a lot of life experience and drama up and down and all the rest of it until we can kind of step out and go, oh gosh, now I remember. I know what that's like.
The
I think it's
human
important.
drama. The human
Yeah,
drama.
exactly. The human drama. And I think it's important to remember our own experience and our own reactions and actions, words, all the things to then create or recreate your own persona, your own innate beauty, and remember who you are, and what your mission actually is. And we each have a mission, and it doesn't have to be some world banging, beating thing. It's just to be, who it is that you are and what you would like to achieve and how you can help.
So true. It's so true. And one more thing. I want to talk about this really quickly. I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget, because it's let's see, you have okay. So I'm going to say to you, and about your my background. I'm not sure about your background. When I started, because one of the points that become more spiritual to is the awareness. And sometimes that awareness is brought to people in many, many different ways. Sometimes it's situation life. Maybe it's the death of someone. It pushes you in that sense of spiritual, or asking God, what did you do that for? there are different ways we get to that, start off that awareness. One of meditation is a great one. A meditation, a life experience. For me, of course, my childhood was a rough childhood. But remember, those are the rough things in life. Those experiences sharpen us. They make us
push you forward.
Yeah, they make us lighter. Those heavy experiences make us lighter. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, I'm going to say that meditation is a great way, of course, and I think my development circle, 7 years sitting in the quiet for 7 years every Tuesday night with my circle group, and it really forces you, when you don't have that noise, to really go within. And for me, it opened up a whole world. Because I wasn't a medium. I wasn't working as a medium. And I didn't know anything about it. But it was going within, having that awareness of my soul, And
exactly.
As a medium, you become aware that that's really you're a soul. And it's your soul that evolves. Your soul expands when you do this work.
Yeah. And suddenly it says, it's time. Let's have a go. Let's do it now. And I think maybe that's what the trauma is, or whatever happens, that's what sparks it. And similarly, James, apart from things of childhood, it was when I really started, I wanted to learn to be a medium or a psychic, whatever that meant, because all these weird and wonderful things were happening. But you go to develop that, you don't have any other thought in your mind other than to develop the thing that you want to do. And but within that, I too sat in circle I did workshops, and then I sat in circle for 4 years with someone, and he concluded that, and then I decided I'm going to chase you lot around the world and sit with classes. And then when I started teaching, I think you learn so much more about yourself while you teach. And you surprise yourself what you know, but it comes from within. It comes from that beautiful, immortal state that you truly are. And I find that I became more spiritual through that aspect of me, and that divine timing and all the whatever you want to call it. But by teaching, which is a great passion of mine and I love and joy. But
you're great at it, by the way. You're a teacher of the year, for God's sake.
Yeah, that too. But that's how I learned to be spiritual.
One thing about you, which is, and you mentioned that it's very true, but there's also something which you have, which you and Kellee both, and there aren't many others that I've met in this work who do this for the dedication of the service. And we realize, and there are a lot of mediums out there, and there are some well-known mediums on television and so forth, and I can't speak for all of them, and I won't judge them, but I will say where people come from really matters. And you and I and Kellee really come to the same cloth. It's service of the humankind. It's doing the utmost you can to bring an awareness and service to every other human in the best way we can.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You do it so well. You're so dedicated, and you're for you to get on the plane 15,000 times and travel with me and Kellee and all over the world and take classes with us. I mean, that's dedication.
And that's dedication. But if you want to do something, you do it, and you find a way to do it. And you are the same, James. We're all in the same basket, but we're also compelled. We have this compelling to just keep going and pushing forward and drawing in. It's beautiful.
So when you say that, and when you draw in, again, I'm all these little analogies, and when you're drawing in, you're actually going out. So you're drawing,
Exactly.
you're expanding, right? So
Exactly. But everything is already within you. So that is what we expand out, and that's why I say, oh, you've got such a light and you change blah, blah to the, the room. Well, it's just what we are that's coming out of us, and offering. So it's lovely.
And you've been with me when people come up and go, oh, and I look at you and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
We don't think anything of it. It's just who we are. It's just
exactly.
we don't think, oh, I was great with that message. That sucked.
Yeah.
It's part of mediumship. It's part of that human thing. But we don't really, I'm and Kellee, it's what I want to speak about, is just, we really just do it to do it. We do it of service.
We're just doing it. Yeah, we do the job.
And one thing I want to ask you about, which I think is really interesting as we discuss this, is when you become more spiritually minded, put it that way, we're spiritually minded. For me, and I have that excitement every day. Something new is going to happen. That art of discovery. Wow, how can I change something today within myself and everybody else? Let myself, be every day I start with it. Be a vessel of that love, the eternal love. It changes every day, but it comes out to, may God show me the way. May be a help to everybody, whoever I come in contact with. It's really interesting. But I'm also becoming more aware. Now, 40 years I've been doing this stuff, but I'm more aware now of how my thoughts are materialized, my words materialize, my situation, and we become much more responsible for our thoughts we send out, for the words, and for how we act. What do you think?
That's right. Exactly. And we don't want to contribute to the negative, I become more aware of that as we go on, especially now. I don't want to contribute to that. So I try to put a new face on it, I guess, and I think just a simple smile helps a lot, and thinking kind thoughts towards others rather than judgy thoughts towards others. And we might get an initial judgment, but then we'll change and go, oh, hang on, and it was really brought home to me many, many years ago when I was going through a lot of terrible, weird things. But I was out shopping one day, just in the shopping center. And I was sitting waiting for somebody, and I was kind of in this altered state. I was really not there. And for whatever reason. And I suddenly realized, or it started melding, blending with me, whatever, that we are all just one. And it just hit me in that space. But I actually felt it. It wasn't of the mind. It was of the being. And here I am judging all these people. Oh, look at them. All of that normal stuff we do at times. And it suddenly occurred to me, or was given to me, that we're all part of the same paradigm. What you judge, you're judging upon yourself.
That's exactly right. Actually, you're actually judging yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But I was literally in an altered state. I knew it. I was in that weird conscious space. And well before I knew I was a medium. And but it really hits home when you realize that. And it's kind of a miracle in its making, isn't it?
And you live accordingly.
Yeah, totally. You change. You can't help but change. I say to lots of my students, I said, mediumship's going to change you. And if it doesn't, keep practicing, because it does change you.
It does change you. Soul development. And you got that insight because that was your soul self getting that information.
Yes.
Your soul self. I had something which might help people that are watching or listening to this. Many years ago, I had a near-death experience, and it was over 20 years ago now. And I remember I hit the counter in this room, and I slipped and fallen, and I popped right out of my body. And I was like, whoa. And I saw my cousin Patricia, who had completed suicide years before, who taught me metaphysics when I was a kid. So we talked about it. And that was an interesting one. That was another page 37 one. Literally. But when she died, I went to visit her apartment where she was, and my other cousin, her sister, said, take anything of Pat's you want. And Pat didn't have much. And I said, well, I would love to have some of her books. And there was a book there, I said, that one. And I just went to this book, and it was called The World Beyond by Ruth Montgomery. right?
Wow.
So I'm watching reading this paperback, and on the train from upstate New York down to New York City, and I'm turning the pages, and all of a sudden it said on the top of the page, "I want this read at my funeral."
Wow.
And page 37, it was in this paragraph. I was like, wow. So I saw her in this out of body experience, this out of my body. She was right there. Hadn't seen her, by the way. Funny enough, I hadn't seen her since she had passed. It was years before. Never came to me. And I saw her, I said, "Oh, Pat, my God." She goes, "Is it over? She goes, "It's going to be over." I said, "You mean over or over?" And she left. And I had an awareness of myself connected to, well, I could say it's like a tapestry. Like there was a cord or a energetic feeling,
Yep.
like from the top of my head, the crown, and I was tapped into a tapestry. And a tapestry, all the little squares, and all the squares were moving. They were all situations. And I was, oh, wow, this is part of the human experience, the human tapestry, if we will, around the earth. Because there were people there that were not, a Caucasian, and it was all different awarenesses, but it was human. But, oh, I'm part of that, and we're part of that, and part of that. And then I came back into my body, and my partner at the time, Brian, he said, "James, wake up, wake up." And I remember my first words, I looked up and I said, "Dying is easy, living is hard."
Yeah, sure is. Isn't that the truth? My
But if you
God.
have this sense of spirituality, this awareness that you're a soul having this human experience, I think it shifts the awareness. It shifts
Sure
your
does.
life. It shifts your
Yeah,
life.
sure does. Yeah. I remember having not a near-death experience, but again, a kind of altered state experience. And I was sitting at my table looking out the window, and these little white butterflies were flitting around. And of course, somebody had just passed recently. And, and I just imagined putting that, I was being playful little girl, and I just imagined putting one of those butterflies on the nose of God, whatever God is, and I put the butterfly there, and suddenly this other sense, this other energy came forward quick as lightning. I assume it was my guide, but at the time, and he said the most beautiful words. I honestly can't remember them, but they struck at the heart, struck at the soul, and I remember sobbing and saying, "What are you doing to me now?" And I sobbed and I said, "Take me now. I want to come home now." And it was not a sense of leaving my children behind or earthly love. It was none of that. It was the most incredible fraction of love that was shown to me, what spirit world, what we truly are, is all about. I yearned to be back there. I didn't want to take myself there. I just wanted to go. Take me now. And I think, similar experiences, we know then something else is, that we are something else, and it was incredible. I'll never forget that. I remember that.
Incredible.
And I think by remembering all these experiences, sorry, James, we were remembering all these experiences, we remember who we are.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And the other thing I want to jump in on with that, also continue with that, is when you become more spiritual, if you will, I don't like saying it that way, but when you become more aware, if you will, that you're a soul self, I find for me, Janelle, that, and it sounds very strange to say it, but I will, that it's very humbling.
Oh, totally.
Humility involved with it, really, because we're all being that one connected. Nobody's better than you, or we're all together in it. So it was, oh, this person, this. No, we're all together. We have different experiences, but we're all part of it.
Yeah, I agree. The whole game of it is very humbling, and we are a game. We're in a game.
We're in a game. We're in a game. I mean, even the spirit people come to me, and just because they've passed in the spirit world doesn't mean they know the secrets of the universe. They don't. They're at that level which they've created based upon their life in this earth, if you will, their understandings, their awareness, their likes, their dislikes, and so I've learned a lot from them. But they've also come in. Or I know this happened to you. They've come around you and they say, "Well, thank you for doing this. I didn't understand this before."
Yes, totally. I was thinking as you were saying that, they learn a lot from us, and we learn a lot from them. And part of their progression is our progression, and even our guides and teachers and masters in spirit, whoever, spirit is learning with us, and they learn how to communicate through us, one at a time. And so our development counts, even at the smallest level.
So true. My brother, when he passed in January, and we were very close, and he passed over. And I remember one of the first things he said when he came back, first or second day, whatever it was, and he said, "Oh, wow!" And I introduced him to mediumship in this world, and because in the lifetime we were living, he was living in New York, and I was in California. This long, long time ago, 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. And I said, "Oh, Mom's here," and she said, "Stop looking at her rosary. We're holding her rosary and opening the prayer book. I need to believe any of this." And he goes. He said some profanity things. And then he said, "How did you know that?" I said, "She's telling me." He goes, "I was just holding a rosary. I have a prayer book in front of me." So
Wow.
he got him excited. And then as he passed in January, he's coming and said, "I'm going to show you things like you've never seen before." And he was laughing about it and having amusement because that's who you met my brother, I think.
Yeah, he was a bit of a jokester. He could certainly, twist a story or two.
And he's done a lot of page 37s. He's just his past. He gets excited to show me things, and there's this excitement. And then I felt he went on to another level, which they do. They go on to another level after they've adapted. And I remember there was a sense of, he's got to go learn higher and other things. Now, another friend of mine, Connie, who I'm writing my book about right now in the midst of that, she helped me. She was kind of my adopted mother who really helped me when I was a young child. And she rarely has come in, but she came to me the other day when I was writing about her. And she said, "Oh, James," I said, "Connie, thank you so much." And it was just a thought, right? They come with a thought. And she said, "You're my one of my finest achievements back there."
Oh, wow. That's great.
Back there.
Great.
That's an interesting way of phrasing it. Back there. In the earth.
Yeah.
They're outside of time, right?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
they can be
Exactly.
multiple spaces at once. So back there.
Yeah. I wonder how she's working with you now.
Well, she's I don't think she's really worked. Well, she's working on this book, which at the end of this, I'm going to tell people about the writing course I'm doing because it's a pretty trippy writing course. But so she'll her personality will come in. You weren't here on the call, but a couple of weeks ago, Kellee and I were doing something, and Mavis Patilla came to me, and she's working on my
blessed Mavis, beautiful.
Our audience, She, "James, I've got to work with you now." Janelle, before we go on, I can't really barely see this. Can you see the questions? You want to answer some of the questions here?
Let's see. Oh, I heard my spirit animal has kept me alive through some death-life experiences. Well, our little animals are certainly in the spirit world, and they do keep us alive, and they do help us. Just like the human spirit people, they're helping us now. They're part of the program, and they want to excel in the things that perhaps they couldn't excel in when they were here. And so they will offer support wherever they can.
Yeah. I mean, Anna's like my doggy Pearl, which is lying here with her ball. She's really helped me with unconditional love even further.
Yeah.
And I try to be like her.
Big and hairy and runs a lot.
All she wants is love, 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 love. And she does want attention, which is fun.
It's lovely.
And she's so giving too, very well balanced. And we can be more like our animals, the pureness of our pets.
Well, they don't ask anything of us, do they? And they don't judge, and they're just there. And I think it's a great lesson that we could all learn simply from our animals. Become more spiritual. Be like the dog.
And also, Janelle, it's really connecting. So it's like whether we connect, we are a soul self, but then I think it really connecting, which has helped me. Not only animals, but nature. So I connect with the prana, that one life force, which is in everything. We can call it one energy in everything. We're part of the plants, the trees, the blades of grass. So I'm in that that sense, if you will, of saying, I'm with you, I'm with you. And I'm kind of more aware of how things are affecting those other particles there, the nature spirits.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nature spirits, that whole kingdoms. And I've loved the gardens I've created that they've helped me to do because I give them what they want. When you're you allow yourself to tune into nature and tune in not only to other people in a psychic and intuitive way, which is the soul's language, intuition, you start tuning into nature and that one life force, that force in everything. And how does that today at my gym, I said to the girl at the front desk, I said, that plant needs food. She goes, how do you know? And I said, well, it told me that. She goes, huh? Well, yeah, if you listen, you can hear it. And I said, please, I need some food. And I said, everything needs food and water. And it's so true. Sorry.
Everything is conscious. Every single thing has a consciousness, whether it's a blade or grass or a rock, it does not matter. And you can tune into all of those incredible things. You really can. And the more you do that, the more you realize you are part of the paradigm. You know, you're part of nature, you're part of being. That is your spiritual aspect at work. You are inspired, and the inspiration just comes thick and thin. It's amazing. You know, we are part of that. That's what we are. We're consciousness.
We're a consciousness. And it's so interesting. I was recently watching a lovely, which I've told you about, told other people about here, the nature of reality with a Buddhist scholar and a scientist, and it was a quantum physicist actually, and there were two of them having a talk about, not a debate but a talk, and it was very interesting from the science point of view. He was an incredible genius of a scientist, and he kept on talking about the brain and the mind as a part of the brain function, and it's very interesting because I think consciousness goes way beyond the brain.
I don't think it is the brain or the mind, you know, like
it's so beyond that.
I think, you know, if you want to, you could kind of go, well, we're two conscious beings. We're the human consciousness and we're the spirit consciousness, or the, you know, the immortal consciousness, whatever you like. Yeah, the soul.
That essence. So try to characterize the meaning of essence.
Yeah. Oh, is that a question? It's not rhetorical.
Bring it out to you and to everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Describe essence and your essence, and that, what is that? Well, you're part of it all, and that spilling over that. It's always like when I was a kid, I was fascinated with water running. I loved it. It's like, oh, this is so great because it's running, it's moving. And I was also, I'm going to throw this at you, Janelle. I grew up on the East Coast of the U.S. in New York, and in the summertime here, in the summertime months in the U.S., we had lightning bugs. Have you ever seen lightning bugs? You know what that is?
We might call them something else.
We probably have a different name for them. They're little bugs that fly, and they have a little light that blinks on and off.
Oh,
you have a name for them.
Something else. We do have a name for them.
Fireflies.
Yes, fireflies.
And of course, in Australia, they probably have big ones, right? With a big snake.
Everything's big here, love.
I say Australia, but like, that's what the big snakes are. I'm like, huh? Like serpents?
If you're lucky, it won't kill you.
I told Janelle this. I told you the other night. I told you this, but I say this often, and I love Australia. And you know, I almost moved in with Janelle.
There's something cooking anyway. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going there next year.
Yes, you're coming here next year.
I'm going there next October, everybody. Yes. Yes.
September, October. We've got to find the date. And
Janelle's found a place already, which is great.
Yes, we've got a place, and we just have to put a few things together, and we will be shouting it from the treetops. So,
but it's very interesting when I was down in Australia and I was doing an event, the big event there at Olympic Stadium, I guess it's called. And
yes, my God.
Big, right? And they're
huge. Tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, and it was filled.
I don't know how you did it. I just, being a mere mortal, I've got no idea.
Went along with it. Just go with the flow. Got to surrender,
yes,
and that's what I just did.
There was flow that night.
There was flow. I got so sick. And there was like the 10th thing up there, and I'm like, and some guy is going to get up and get a beer. I did do it. I said, "Excuse me, sir. Can you send one down here as well?" But the questions they were asking were so amazing. The Australian people. I know it sounds general, but I said, "You're all a bunch of aliens," because the kind of questions they were asking were so beyond anything I'd ever experienced in the U.S. or the countries. But Australians have been very evolved, very much in a star people, without a doubt. Star system people. It's true. Hey, I bet another question we have.
And we're a little bit colloquial as well, I think. But we certainly love the star people. And stay tuned, my friends. I have something coming up next year. I'll just put a terrible plug in there. But we love the aliens and the star people.
Are you going to do an alien workshop? Are you going to do an alien?
Yeah. I'm doing a whole course on it. And I'm bringing it in and working in trance, et cetera, et cetera. I've done it before, but we've done a little different.
People haven't met you before, what you teach and your website and what you really teach, because I'm sure they'd love to learn from you.
Well, thank you, love. Well, we start out with mediumship. We think we're just mediums and that's where we're going. And the psychic senses are certainly everything to start with, and then we evolve from that. And through expansion of your mediumship and psychic senses, we can move into altered states. We can move into the angelic realms. We can move into the sprites and the spirit beings and our star beings, the star people that are certainly around us. They've been part of this planet and it's making for billions of years. And, they talk about disclosure.
Do you teach
that? Yes.
I mean, on your website right now, if people want to take courses.
It's not on the website right now.
Okay. So what are some of the courses you're teaching now that you're involved in with people that they can take from you?
At the moment, I'm doing a bit of an intensive mediumship course. So to really push them along a bit further, not just all the nice stuff, but let's work with the difficult contacts or the things that you feel awkward about, like the death of somebody, a death of a child or a suicide or a this or a that, or wherever your heart has panged for somebody or been tormented. They're the things I'm diving into right now to try and overcome the blocks that are in our own mind, our own thoughts, our own heart, on how to communicate with them and allow them to come and work through us. So we have to get through a lot of those difficulties, traumas ourselves. So at the moment, we're working on some of those things within the circle that's currently online. So of course it's too late to join, but we're on it.
Yeah, but with the people at least get their name on your waiting list or on your email.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. The only way to really find out anything about is to either come on social media or get on the mailing list. So, janellecampbell.com.au is the place to be. Get on the mailing list. If you're interested in development, then it's the best place to start. See what comes up.
And great teacher of the year. And Janelle, one of the things which I think is also not only how the difficult context, but also how to give out the information in a way
exactly
which is with integrity,
palatable, kind, compassionate, non-judgmental.
And you'll get some weird stuff. So
you get some really weird stuff.
One
that.
of the things that you're talking about, which just came to my mind, I remember, was when I was doing these monthly demonstrations at a hotel. And I remember the first thing that came up and I said, this mother's here. I said, and she was showing me something like, I can't say that. But I did it. I did it in a way. I said, your mother's saying you're wearing her bra. I am.
But it is incredible.
But sometimes it's great evidence as well.
It's probably the most spot on, perfect evidence because it's current, it's conscious, and it is what it is, and it's lovely. I think that we people that have come for readings, something will come up in a reading and you're speaking about, and the spirit person has noticed you thinking that in the car while you were on your way, 100%. And then the client will just go, oh my God, I was just thinking that, and I said, well, yeah, she's here. She's telling me that, she knows that. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Are you doing readings still?
Oh, yes, still doing readings and all the beautiful things that go with it. So get online, have a look at the page and see what you feel like. So we do everything from psychic, mediumship, channeling, you name it, it's there. Yeah,
and you do a really great psychometry exercise. Or you will be. And I want to share with everybody that I'm doing right now. We just put it up on my school page, the JVP School of Mystical Arts. Ryan put up there. But I'm sort of the writer's course, which I haven't done in 2 or 3 years now. And it's very different than other ones. But it's because I'm writing my book. So I'm going to write my book along with other participants, coming down to what their cover ideas are, what the book is about. And I'm finding something which I'm using this with Connie, the ladies I'm writing about. It's so interesting. I'm going to have people also, if they're writing about someone who passed over or someone in their life, you're actually going to connect with them and but ask them to be present when you're writing about them. So there was ways. And so that's the Awaken the Writer Within. That's going to be, that's on right now. We started that.
Yeah.
So
I'll put my hand up. Yes, I'll put my hand
up. You're doing yours.
I'm doing it. I know. Yes.
I'm forcing Janelle to finish her book. I said, I will help you with this.
Damn book has been hanging around for so long. So anyway,
that's come up in reading as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll happen, love.
But
It'll
you have to
happen.
get it out to the world. The world is waiting for you. You know, when you put that thumbprint on your work and you give it out, that
Yeah.
essence is shared with the world. So everybody has
Yes.
a story within them, a book within them to get out. And I think it's an
Yeah.
opportunity, right? It's an opportunity with me to do that because
Yeah.
I don't do it that often. And I love writing. I love
Yeah.
creating. I love helping people get to that other part. I've had over 40 students get their books published. Over 40
Wow.
students.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I've written the course
You're
like twice.
41.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it'd be lovely. And writing is very important. And the spirit within and spirit without kind of helps you do that. The process of it. They just write it for you.
It's
My
just,
lot have been saying, just get to your computer and we'll do it. You know,
oh, I know.
we'll
I've
do it
heard
for you.
that. You. Last night, I said, they're telling me, get it going. Yeah. And it's that space, you know, it's also meditative. It's very much that
Yeah.
lovely space of creation,
Beautiful. Yeah.
meditation. And you'll
It
be
is.
different from it. When you let words out and you write
Yeah.
things down, boy, isn't it? That's why I
It's
tell people
true.
journaling as well. So
It's
anyway,
very
that's
true.
what's going on there.
Yeah,
And
it'd be lovely.
yeah,
I think, you know, becoming, you know, we get back to what we're here for, becoming more spiritual. I think as soon as you start acting, taking something you've wanted to do or thought about for such a long time and turning it into an action, that's you becoming spiritual, and that world starts to open up and more things will come for you, given to you, you know. So you have to make a move. You know, people come to us for readings, don't they, Jamie? Say, oh, what should I do, this, that, or whatever, I'm so confused. Well, just do one bloody thing, make a choice and have a go and run with it, you know,
yeah.
and see where it takes you. It's incredible.
Well, allowing yourself and surrendering. So we go back to that, allowing
Surrender.
and surrendering, and it opens up
Yeah.
the doors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Really.
So
Well, honey, thank you for joining us here, Janelle. Really appreciate it.
most welcome.
Check out the, spiritual teacher of the year, her website and her course.
Oh, I have to say something.
Yeah.
Kellee and I are doing a workshop.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. What is
Oh
it?
my goodness, I would be in so much trouble. Kellee and I are, backed by
December.
popular demand, are
Yes.
doing angels and archangels. And
Careful.
a lovely, yes, I know, lovely workshop. We'll be doing meditation. We'll be talking, expanding on the last workshop, our last webinar, on
That was
different
incredible.
ideas,
That
way
was
to
incredible.
connect. Yeah, channeling. We're going to do the lot. So please come along to that. We'll have the link up here somewhere. It is on the 12th of December, I believe, for our lovely American friends. And for us as Aussies, it is on the 13th. I think I've got the dates right. So it's Friday, Saturday. Friday, America, Saturday, Australia. So please jump online and join us. It will be a lot of fun and the weird and the wonderful. Let's see what consciousness brings us.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Janelle.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Kel.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next week. Okay.
Yes.